Okay, so I think the majority of people would be here by now. So again, welcome everybody to this evening's ASBAS session. It's a free webinar that is brought to you by the Australian Small Business Advisory Services Program, proudly brought to you in Queensland, Northern Territory and Western Australia by Business Station, also Regional Development Australia and Treaty Business Consulting also. So we're really proud to be part of this program, and we really like the fact that we have the opportunity to teach business owners a few things about digital marketing and online programs. So for those of you that don't know me, my name is Kerrie Saverin, and I'm the co-founder of Altitude Business Solutions, and I will be guiding you tonight through this webinar. You will notice that as I get into the webinar, I do turn my video off, but I am still here. I do that because I get really distracted with myself looking back at me all the time, as you probably already noticed. So if you have any questions, I'm going to ask you to put them in the chat for me this evening. You'll notice that you've been muted, and that's for the comfort of the recording, so we can make sure that we've got a quality recording. But I do like these webinars to be a little bit interactive, so I don't feel like I'm here by myself. And, you know, if you have any questions, just put them into the chat and I will do my best to answer them for you. So we are talking about content planning. Now, can I tell you, this is probably the number one reason why people engage our services or come to us with questions or book an ASBAS session with us, is because they struggle with, how do I plan content and what do I do? So tonight's session is going to be really basic. You know, when it comes to the equipment that you need to be able to use this, it's nothing fancy. This is a digital calendar that you can see. This is from December 2020. But a piece of paper is essentially where we start. We just sit down. Now, I trained a session very similar to this today. I had a one-on-one session with somebody. I was able to train her how to actually schedule her content and create her content. And in 1 hour, we did a week, and that was sort of training as well. So under normal circumstances, you should be able to create and schedule a whole entire month's worth of content in around about 2 hours. That's pretty much, once you've got it down pat, that's how simple it is. Now, we just start off with a calendar like this, or as I said, a blank piece of paper, just to, you know, make sure that we have something to write down on, but you don't need anything fancy. You don't need any scheduling tools or anything like that. So you're in the right place tonight if you're ready to get organized with your social media and actually sit down and make a plan and get it done. I'm a really big one for action precedes everything. So it's all well and good to talk about it, but to sit down and actually do it is huge. So tonight we're going to be talking about what platforms are best for your business, because it's sort of one of the things that comes along with content planning, is people go, I don't know what platform I should be on. So we're going to be going through those, and hopefully that'll help you with that. We're going to be answering that question that everybody asks, how many times a week should I be posting? And then we're going to be talking about the different types of content to post. So this is all going to help out with your social media content planning. And like I said, 2 hours once a month and you should be done and dusted. So deciding what platforms are right for you, we understand the frustration that comes along with this. And it really comes down to two factors. Firstly, where your clients are, and number two, how much time you want to spend on social media. Now, while I'm saying today that you can plan your content and, you know, create it and schedule it for a month in as little as 2 hours, that's true. There does need to be some level of interaction with the people on there. So you will need to face the fact that you're probably going to have to spend a little bit of time each week going in and interacting with your potential clients and customers. And when somebody likes a post, you will need to invite them to the page, if it's a page that you're doing on Facebook, etc. So while we can plan the content and have a bit of a strategy here tonight, you're still going to have to face the fact that, you know, maybe 10 minutes a day, you just have to jump on and just check to see if there's any messages. It's nearly like email. It just becomes part of the process for you as well. So let's give you an overview of the more popular social media platforms and the ones that you might be considering. So LinkedIn is typically the choice of social media platform for anyone who's doing business to business transactions. So, you know, especially if your goal is lead generation, then LinkedIn is definitely the place to be. But if you're a service that delivers services to other businesses or has something on offer for other businesses and other business owners, then LinkedIn is really the platform of where you need to be, particularly if you're in that corporate space or you're wanting to get to that medium to large business, as opposed to the small business, because you will find a lot of them are actually on LinkedIn. It's a great way to be able to find people also if you are looking for CEOs, etc., of particular company. But this is also the ideal content for things like editorial blogs and that type of thing. So it really depends on the type of business that you are. What I'm going to get you to do, because I don't know everybody that's in the room tonight, is just in the chat, I just want you guys just to put in what type of business you have. So whether you have a product-based business or a service-based business, and just a little bit of a description. That'll just help guide me tonight and make sure that I'm, you know, what I'm teaching you is kind of relevant to your business. So if you don't mind doing that for me, pop it into the chat. That'd be great. So you can actually build some authority through LinkedIn. Obviously, it's a very professional platform, and there are, between the ages of 30 and 49 is the majority of people that are in LinkedIn and using LinkedIn, which is interesting. It's a smaller social media platform as compared to something like Facebook, but it's still very relevant. And as I said, particularly if you're in that professional space. But I can see, so we've got a sign writer, print and design, boat lifting service base. There you go. That's an interesting one, Lisa. So Pinterest. So images are the name of the game when it comes to this one. For those of you that have been on Pinterest, you may have heard previously that Pinterest was really used if you were looking for a new recipe or a bit of craft. You know, if you want to turn a hardcover book into a handbag, you could go to Pinterest and probably find that out. But Pinterest is great for if you're wanting to get people to a website. So again, it depends on what you're trying to do. If you're looking to drive sales and get people to your website, then you may need to consider Pinterest. We'll cover the amount that you need to actually post on Pinterest. And the recommendation is quite a lot for you to post on Pinterest, but the content stays on there for a long period of time as well. So it may be just something that you want to consider. There are far more women on Pinterest than there are men. So if your ideal client or your ideal customer is a woman, then this may be a platform that you need to consider. And as I said, it's very graphic heavy. You know, it's sort of like food, art, fashion, wedding, travel. It's nearly sort of a little bit different to Instagram, but it is about the image as well. So again, it just depends on your service. Then there's Twitter. So I think probably the most that all of us have found out about, or the majority of people have found out about Twitter, was when, you know, the president started tweeting all the time. It's the go-to platform if your business is about immediacy. So if your clientele is in that kind of millennial or even younger, they just love Twitter. They're over Twitter. If you're a business that needs to give breaking news on a regular basis, then you need to be on Twitter. Twitter's most of Twitter's users are under the age of 50. They're not in the older demographic. That tends to be a little bit more for Facebook. So again, depending on the type of customer that you're looking for. Really quick snippets of information is what works best on this platform. And of course, it's word-based. It's not image-based. So yeah, the sending out of information is probably the most popular, which is why the president was on it. So this is not always the best platform for a business, though. If you follow anybody in the marketing space, you'll know that Gary Vee is massive on Twitter, and he constantly uses Twitter, but he's also really big on LinkedIn at the moment as well. So that's his little insider tip. Then you've got Instagram. Now, Instagram has really proven itself to be a powerful marketing tool for businesses, especially if you're looking to expand your visibility of your products. If you're a product-based business, it's evolved over the last few years. There's a lot more greater emphasis on making money off Instagram than just, you know, posting a pretty picture these days. So it allows businesses to tag their products, take really nice photos. It is about the image on Instagram. So it is about making sure that those images are A1 and ready to go. But it is proving that, and obviously it was purchased by Facebook, I think in 2012 was when they purchased that. So they've seen the success of what they've been able to do on Facebook, and they're now starting to really apply it to Instagram. It'll be interesting to see. I hope they don't put too many of the same things from Facebook onto Instagram, because it's always been a separate platform. And if it becomes too linked to Facebook, I don't know if it'll be as successful. So this is also where the use of hashtags come in, which we'll touch a little bit on as well. But hashtags are really big on Instagram. And for those of you that follow hashtags, you'll know that. If you're on Instagram, you'll know that the hashtag is the thing to follow. And then we've got Facebook. Now, not only is this by far the biggest platform of all the social media platforms, but bear with me while I grab my little piece of paper, because I've just been going through the 2020 stats for Australia. I get a report once a year about this, and it's really interesting to note that 89% of users that were surveyed for this Australian survey that was done in 2020 use Facebook. So essentially, and yes, 2020, unusual year, probably more people on Facebook than previous years. People were introduced to Facebook to use it as a way and mean of communicating with their family. I understand all of that. It's 89% of the population, essentially. This is, you know, of the people surveyed. It was a very easy, a very even survey as well. They told me all about who they'd surveyed, how many people, and 89% of them were using Facebook. So to me, it's one of the most powerful platforms to actually be on. So what would actually surprise me more, 89% of them being on Facebook, yes, but 56% of the people surveyed admitted to being on a social media platform more than 10 times per day, and they thought that was acceptable. Isn't it amazing how far social media has come? You know, if we'd have said 10 years ago that everybody's going to spend on average around 1 hour and 10 minutes on social media platforms per day, and we're going to be on there 10 times per day, and we're going to think that there's nothing wrong with that, I would have laughed. But this is by far the most powerful social media platform that there is. So hopefully that's cleared up a little bit, looking at those major ones. Yeah, and I know that there's plenty of others, and yes, I'm all over Clubhouse, don't worry about that. If you haven't gotten into Clubhouse yet, you will, and you'll probably get a little bit addictive, but think it's a voice streaming platform, basically. So if you think about a podcast, but it's a live podcast and it's not recorded. So you're on there live, you're asking questions, you're listening to experts, and then it's over and it's done with. It's like a mass phone call, essentially. So yeah, nice platform there. And there's a lot of businesses that are having some success building on there as well. But today we're just going to stick to these major ones. And as I said to you, Facebook has proven itself to be the most successful, particularly at building relationships with people also. So for the sake of today's example, I'm going to say that we've chosen 3 platforms to schedule to. So you can see I've typed them in. If you look at the very bottom of this slide, of this picture in the notes section, we've decided we're going to go to Facebook, Instagram, and Google My Business. Now, I didn't mention Google My Business in the top social media platforms, but if you don't have a Google My Business listing, you really need to get one. So this is where if somebody is searching for a boat lifting service near them, they'll search boat lifting service, and if you're near them, then your listing will come up. It's free for you to have. It's called a Google My Business listing, and it's totally free for you to have. It doesn't cost anything for you to set up, and you can post to it like it's a social media platform. In December of last year, which was when I originally created this training, we decided we were going to start posting on a regular basis to Google My Business. We've been slack and we haven't done that. If you go to our Google My Business page, you'll see that there's not too many posts there. But I will say I did just last week look at the results from the posts that we had put on there, and I was really amazed to see the amount of people that are actually finding our listing for various reasons. So I'm again, here we are nearly in March, and I haven't stuck to my word from December, but I am going to make Google My Business a focus for us, just posting on there on a regular basis, because you can post just like social media. So there's a bit of a platform. So they're the three that we've chosen for this example. But obviously you would choose ones that are acceptable for you. Now, what I want you to think is, when you're thinking about your social media platforms, I want you to consider all of it as being digital marketing. So what it actually does is it allows you to create a lot of content so people can get to know, like, and trust you so that they want to do business with you. And in the digital world, what will happen is, if somebody decides that they want, Lisa, I'm pulling you out again, a boat lifting service, and they search that on Google, and 3 businesses come up, that's where they're going to start. Then they're going to say, who has a website? That one doesn't, that one doesn't, that one does. I'm going to go straight to that one. So they'll go to that website and they'll say, what's on the website? And then they'll be saying, do they have any social media platforms? Normally what happens from there, after they go to the website, they can see that it's a reputable business, they will Google the business name. And when they Google the business name, that's when the Facebook, the Instagram, the LinkedIn, whatever you've picked, that will come up in the Google searches. So straight away, it will show them you have a Google My Business listing, you have a website, and maybe you are using LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram, okay? So you've got 5 points of digital contact. That's really cementing that not only you're a reputable business, but you're across a lot of different platforms. So, if someone's dodgily set up a business, they'll only just have a website, and they wouldn't have been on there for a very long time. So they'll be looking at the Facebook page and going, gee, they've been on Facebook since, 2009. They've been around for a long time. So if you think that people aren't doing this kind of research when they're online on your services, then I'm telling you you're wrong. They are. This is what they're doing. This is how they're trying to find that social proof. They're trying to get to know you. They want to do business with you, but they want to be confident that they're giving the business to someone that they know, like, and trust. And this has been proven time and time again. And in fact, one of the social media stats, if I can pull it out, 59% of people surveyed said that they wouldn't use the service if the business didn't have a website. So what you're saying is, they've found a page on Facebook and they've found the business on Facebook, let's say, but if they haven't been able to find a website, they don't believe it's a reputable business. They wouldn't do business with it. And this is what I'm talking about, building confidence. And a lot of people don't think that they need a website for their business. That websites are old hat. It's about building confidence. It's a very small amount of money to pay to build confidence for your potential clientele. So now that we know what platforms in this example we're going to be posting to, of course, the number one question that gets asked is, that's great, but how many times per week should I post? And of course, this is different for every platform. So here's the suggested times per week. Now you'll notice LinkedIn. LinkedIn is suggested 2 times per week, optimal 1 time per day in the morning. Twitter is suggested 3 to 6 tweets per day. Remember back at the very beginning, I said there's 2 things you need to consider. You need to consider what your business is and where your clients will be, but also how much time you've got to spend. I don't have time to be doing 3 to 6 tweets per day. And if you look at the optimal there, it's 15 to 23 times per day is the optimal time to tweet. So that gives you an idea of how long a tweet will last. So you probably won't see me on Twitter very often. Pinterest again, suggested 3 to 5 times per day. You're not going to see me on Pinterest 3 to 5 times a day. Optimal, 10 to 25 times per day. Here's what I can tell you about Pinterest though. The content that I put on Pinterest has longevity. And what that means is, if I put a post on Pinterest today, it will probably stay relevant for the next 4 months. So for the next 4 months, people will come to my website based on the content that I've put on Pinterest. If I am on Facebook, the content, Facebook and Instagram, you're talking 24 hours. The content's only relevant for 24 hours. And then because there's so much content being put on there, the way that the Pinterest algorithms work, it allows your content that you put on there to last for 4 months. I understand 3 to 5 times per day is optimal, and that's going to get you beating the algorithm and all of that kind of stuff. But I can honestly tell you, we have a lot of success over just posting 10 times a month. You don't need to do a lot for me on Pinterest. Again, Instagram is suggested 3 times per week or optimal once a day. So you don't have to post once a day, 3 times per week is fine. And again, Facebook is suggested 3 times per week and optimal once per day. So if we look at the platforms that we've chosen, Google My Business, we haven't tested anything on Google My Business, and I couldn't find anything to actually be able to tell you what the ideal amount is to post. But we're going to just try posting twice a week. So similar content, not the same content, but we're just going to try posting twice a week just to see how it goes. So I have to keep you all updated on that. So out of the platforms that we've chosen, we did have LinkedIn in there and we had Facebook in there. So you can see LinkedIn, we need to post 2 times per week, and Facebook, we need to post 3 times per week. So start, as I said to you earlier, starting with something is better than starting with nothing. So start by posting 3 times per week. So you can schedule your posts in advance to take the pressure away. And you can also show your clients a personal side of the business also. It doesn't have to be scheduled in. If you want to do things off the cuff, I'm happy for you to do them off the cuff as well. But when you're talking about sitting down and writing a plan, which is what we're talking about tonight, we've decided we're going to post 3 times per week. So we've gone through based on our business, and keeping in mind everybody's business will be different. And in this example, we would be posting on a Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So to keep things easier, I know on LinkedIn it was only 2 times per week. Oh, sorry, Instagram. We're supposed to be posting Instagram. I need to remember what my thing was. Instagram, 3 times per week. There you go. So 3 times per week for Instagram, 3 times per week for Facebook. So that makes it easy. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. They're the days that we've chosen to be able to post. So you can see already when you look at that, what have we got? Like 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that's 10, that's 14 bits of content. Has that taken the overwhelm out of a lot of it for you already? Because I'm sure a lot of you came in here going, oh, she's going to tell me I need to post once a day. But if you're not posting anything across anywhere, and I'm just going to ask you to try and post 14 times in this month, which you could sit down and do very easily if you have a plan. So we know what platforms we're posting to. We've picked them: Facebook, Instagram, and Google My Business. We've decided we're going to post 3 times per week, and we're going to do it on a Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So we know we need to create 14 pieces of content. Is this breaking it down, making it nice and easy for you, taking the overwhelm out of it? You may have come into it thinking that you had to create 31 pieces of content for every day of the month, and you now only have to create 14. Because consistency and doing something is better than doing nothing. If you get 2 months down the track and decide that you want to post every day, go for it. But the majority of people that we deal with, they come in, think it's all too overwhelming, we've got to post too much, we don't know what to do. I'm saying I only want you to post 14 times in a month. So we're going to keep it very conservative and easy. Now, what type of content are you going to post? This is probably the second highest question that we are asked. Now, firstly, I want to talk to you about having different types of content across your page. This is pulled from our Facebook page, just to give you an example. Whether it's Facebook or wherever, we're talking about the type of content that it is here. So the first one, this is 3 totally different examples. Okay, so the first one is social. This is not a business post. You see we've got the boy with the glasses on. Every dream started somewhere. So it could be a motivational quote, or it could be a meme. It could be a holiday celebration, or just the sharing of something funny that you've seen. So, I'm sure Scott, sign writer, print and design, you could find some really classic pictures on Google around people spelling signs wrong. I've seen that on a couple of sign writing pages. It's an absolute classic to watch, if I'm honest with you. So I love it when people can pull something out a little bit different. So this is an entertaining post. This is, you know, obviously it's got nothing to do with business. In the case of this one, it's a motivational quote that we've got up there. Every dream started somewhere. And our little quote is supporting the dreams of hundreds of small business owners across Australia. But it's not really business related. We're not saying, hey, come and do our webinar or come and do this. It is just a little bit of motivation. So we are looking for the different types of content that you can have. Obviously, they could be educational content, informative, entertaining, or inviting them to do something. So they're just the different types of content you can have. The second is a kind of sales business type of content. So we've got straight away website from $399, and then a bit of a spiel about how people often ask us, how can you possibly build a website for $399? So it's saying, come check us out, come check out our web design. This is what we can do for you. And it's saying, you know, it's inviting, it's businessy. And the third type of content that we have there is an informative post. Now, this is where you could, as we have in this case, we've shared a news story from a local publication. I'm halfway between Brisbane and the Gold Coast. And this is Living in Logan, which is a local magazine, who did a story about the ASBAS program and how the federal government had put more money into the program earlier in the year, or October, there we go, October last year, they put more money into the program. So this is a bit of, you know, it's informative. It's a news article. You could certainly make your own graphic if you wanted to, or you could share something across that you think is relevant, which is what we've done in this case also. So that's the different types of content. Now, the next thing to consider is how you're going to present this information. Do we have any questions on that before I move on to the next one? Remember, I said you can put any questions that you have in the chat this evening. So if you have any questions on that, now's the time to put it into the chat for me so that I can get those questions answered for you. So educational posts, informative, entertaining, and inviting. They're the types of posts there. Now, when it comes to how you're going to present it, there's a few different ways. Now, this is an example, or it's two examples of what we call a word post. It's a post with just words. There's no attachment, there's no pictures. Obviously, if you're on Twitter, that is just all about words, but these are pictures both taken off Facebook, just to give you guys an example. But you've got a word post, which is just essentially a whole heap of words posted. So that's the very same piece of content that we created back here in the middle, website from $399. That is essentially just the words from that. So that's just a word post. Put no picture with it, nothing. It's been proven on platforms like Facebook. On Instagram, you can't post without a picture, by the way, but on Facebook you can. But it has been proven that these posts basically get seen by nobody. No one's interested in reading the information when it's not presented in a way that's receptive. So the second one is a word post. It is a bit of I guess it's a bit of a motivational thing. So it's a bit of, you know, trying to get some interaction. So the only reason your business exists is to solve the problems of your customers. What problem does your business solve? So trying to get some interaction from everybody who's following us. This is a word post, but if you do a post on Facebook that only has a small amount of words in it like this, you have the option to create an image and get it up there as a bit of an image. So this has more interaction than just the standard word post, but it's still not ideal. But this is a word post. So this is not necessarily about the type of content where it's about how we're presenting that content. And this is a word post. The second one is a picture post. So this is just a post with a picture. You know, many people using Instagram will use a post like this to help with the look of their news feed, or to, you know, have a little bit of inspiration. But you'll notice there's no words with that. So you can see this is a Facebook post. You can see, interesting enough, that it's been published by Canva. For those of you who don't know Canva, Canva is a graphic design tool that's free for small businesses to use. We have a paid account. I think we pay $18 a month for that account. And it allows us to create images and post them directly to Facebook through Canva. So we don't have to, we can schedule them through there. So we created this image there and we posted it directly to Canva, directly to Facebook. But this is a picture post. So you can see this is a lot more inviting, isn't it? It's blurry because I've obviously taken a screenshot and then blown it up. It's a little bit blurry, but it is a much nicer picture to look at. And you'll find that these kind of picture posts do get a lot of examples. So this is that motivational quote. It's not a business quote, it's a motivational quote that's been presented in the form of a picture. Then you've got a word and picture combo. Now for us, this kind of post is the one that gets the most amount of reaction. So when we have a picture that is paired with information, and I wish I'd have picked a bit more businessy stuff now that I look at this, but this is another just Sunday post. So I've put, this is me on a Sunday. In fact, let's be honest, the only reason you're reading this post is at 9 a.m. is because I'm smart enough to be organized with my social media and have it all scheduled in. So that was just, you know, it's a Sunday. This is pretty much how I feel on that day. I'm stuffed by the time I get to the end of the week. So this is me. But it was just to get a bit of attention. You'll notice it's been made again through Canva on the graphic design. We've got our logo on there. So we're reminding people of our brand and reminding people of who we are, but it's a little bit of fun. And we find that the posts with the words and pictures, they get the most amount of reaction for us on Facebook. What you will find on Instagram is very picture based. I completely understand that, but people are moving to a little bit more than just pictures on Instagram now as well. And whether that is because of the Facebook and Instagram kind of connection. But if you're going to do any type of post, whether it's on Facebook or Instagram, I would be putting words and a picture with it, because for us, it is the best type of content when it comes to still content. Obviously, king of everything is video, pre-recorded video, live video, all that kind of stuff that we love to hate if you're me. Look, for me, I'm an introvert. I find this really difficult to deal with. We've just started filming videos in the last week. In this kind of scenario, on a one-on-one basis with you guys, you know, I've got 15 to 100 people in a webinar room that I can't see. I'm great. Put me in front of a camera and I stutter and I can't get my words out. I get very nervous. So I understand that you don't want to do video content, and I haven't done video content on my social media platforms, but I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't tell you it is the most popular form of content that people on social media want to see. So whether it's a very quick 5-minute video of where you are, or something that you're doing in your business, Lisa, if you're lifting a boat, I don't know, I need to get clarification on this. Are you lifting them out of the water? Are you actually taking them somewhere? Are you carting them from one place to another? So you have to give me some clarification on that one. But, you know, you could have a video of when you're doing a boat lift. It doesn't have to be you. It can be something to do with your business, but that's the type of content that gets seen by the most amount of people. Social media outlets like it. So Facebook likes it, lifting them out of the water. Thank you for that. Onto a stand. Okay, yeah, so they can do maintenance. Makes complete sense. So a live video or even a pre-recorded video, you know, recorded video of them lifting the boat out of the water is going to get more attention and more traction than just a post on Facebook. We love video, you know, particularly if we can just see something, it just makes it much easier. You can pre-record your videos if you want to. In the case of this example, this lady looks like she's going to be doing a daring thing and going live. And if you want to go live, you can do that also. But yeah, just a little bit of a video about what it is that you do or the business that you're in will be great. And then there's live streaming. So I've done a few tests on live streaming. Last year, I did step out of my comfort zone and do some live streaming. I did some training sessions live just to see across different social media platforms to see where I would have the most success. I can say it was a little bit lonely for me. I felt like there wasn't very many people on the live when I was doing it. But then I did a live for my business and I didn't get very many people on. And then I did a live of Christmas lights and everybody wanted to come on and have a look. So I think the type of content obviously has something to do with it as well. And that's something that you need to consider. You need to, I guess, be showing people something a little bit different and not something that they can see all the time, you know, when it gets their attention. You're trying to stop the scroll, I guess. So now we know what platforms we're going to use because we've picked our platform. We know how many times per week we're going to post because we already picked the Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Oh, Lisa's asked me a direct question, which I'm going to answer live, Lisa, because, you know, I sometimes forget that not everybody knows. But when you do a video via social media platforms like Facebook and Instagram, you have the option of uploading a pre-recorded video. So that's where you filmed a video and then you can upload it. Or you can actually go live, where you can say, hey, I'm standing down here at the dock and we're just about to take a boat out of the water and I thought I'd show you guys exactly what it is that we do. And you can show them straight away live. So people can be watching it on social media as you're actually sort of seeing it. So it's live. So that's exactly what live streaming is called. So we know how many times a week we're going to post. And we've got an idea now, or we've made a decision based on our plan of what types of posts we're going to use the content for. So you can see how when you have a little bit of an idea, I'm going to go to my little plan and I'm going to show you what I've come up with. This is what I came up with. I liked color code. I'm a highlighter from way back, so I just try and make it easy for people. So what I decided to do in our business was that on a Monday posts were going to be business posts. People are back to work, so we were back to business. So on a Monday, you can see we were going to share upcoming webinars and workshops that were happening. We were on the 7th, on the 14th, we were going to talk about the ASBAS program. And then on the 21st, we're going to talk about upcoming webinars again. And on the 28th, we're going to talk about the ASBAS program. So that gives you a really quick sort of rundown of the type of content that we were going to do. Now, we might decide based on that content that maybe on the 7th, telling people about our upcoming workshops and webinars is going to be a video. I'll film a quick video on my mobile phone of me just saying to people, hey guys, we've got our upcoming webinars and workshops for this week and next week, and here's what they are. Or it could be a picture graphic, or it could be a word post, or it could be a word and picture graphic. But do you see how that kind of gets the idea of, gives you an idea of what you need to do? Then on a Wednesday, we decided it was going to be, on a Monday, it's going to be informative. That's red. So informing people about the ASBAS program and what's coming up. On Wednesday, it's going to be a business post. So it's going to be, we do websites, we do Facebook page management, we have one-on-one sessions. You know, this was Christmas. So obviously we were conscious of the fact that there's Christmas in there. We don't ignore Christmas. So on the 23rd, you can see we put a little bit of information up about surviving the silly season. And then of course on the Friday, it was Christmas Day. On the 31st, we did a little, are you ready for 2021? So you have to take into consideration if it's Valentine's Day or any of those types of special days, obviously, throughout the year. And then on a Friday, you know, reverting back to the old funny Fridays, they're always good. You're trying to get interaction. So let's have a look at those 3 different types of content. So what we've done is we're giving them informative content, we're giving them business content, and we're giving them social content. I can honestly say your social content is probably the thing that's going to get the most interaction and the most engagement. What we're talking about here is we're talking about a social media content plan. And if you're doing this webinar tonight, the next webinar that you need to consider doing, and I'm not sure if it's coming up anytime soon, but it would be growing your business using social media. So this is talking about, we've got a plan for our content. If you know anything about social media, what you know is you can't just post 3 times a week and walk away and that's it. As I said, there's a little bit of housekeeping that you need to do each day. So I would say if you're a 5-day-a-week business, which most businesses are. I know there's some business owners out there who were crazy enough to work 7 days a week like I was, but we live and learn. Your 5-day week business might be Monday to Friday. It might be Tuesday to Saturday for another business. But essentially, you're looking at 5 days of the week. If you committed to the first 10 minutes of your day being getting your social media over and done with, it really is that easy. Once you've planned the content and you've posted the content, so you spent 2 hours a month doing that, and it would be max 2 hours. Once you've got this process down pat, the type of content will come much easier to you. So it will become easier. And then I want you to commit to 10 minutes a day, 5 days of the week, whichever those 5 days are that you work, to jump on and do a little bit of maintenance. If you want to know what that maintenance is and the maintenance that will help you grow your business, the webinar to look out for is Growing Your Business Using Social Media, because that's where I go through that. The purpose of this webinar today is to show you that creating content and sitting down and having a plan for your content actually takes the overwhelm out of it. Now, when it comes to the Funny Friday post, I'll be completely honest with you, I'm not great with creativity, but this is where Google comes into play. You know, if I see something funny, I'll share it, I'll post it. That's my Funny Friday, I'm done. So you need to think about those everyday things that crack people up. I saw one the other day, which was really hilarious. It was a painter, and it was a guy who was a painter, and he'd painted the floor of a garage, but he had actually left himself nowhere to go. So here he was stuck sort of to the side of the garage. He painted the whole entire garage floor, but hadn't painted himself back to the door. So he was left stuck there. And he said, when you start, it said something like, when you start the day saying, thank God it's Friday, and then start cursing yourself, because he was literally stuck there and he couldn't move anywhere. So that got my attention. It got me stopping the scroll, that we call it. And this is where people get frustrated with social media, because they go, oh, people just like the junk that's on there. Yeah, they do. But if that junk is attached to your business name and it has your brand in it, there's these subliminal messages that go across. The majority of our business comes from when we post about our upcoming workshops and webinars. That gets people to our website. That is essentially where our business comes from. Whether they book into the free webinars and workshops through ASBAS or not, they will end up somewhere else on our website. And that's where the majority of our business comes from. We've been very focused in on Facebook ever since we've gone into business, which has been 2 years. But we have tried to stick to a relatively simple, we've tested a few things and done lots of things, and our social media strategy is not A1, but we're more focused in on looking after our clients than we are ourselves at the moment. So does that make it seem a little bit less overwhelming for you? Did anybody have any questions on that? We've gone through and we've decided what platforms are best for your business. Did anybody have any questions on that? You're all very quiet tonight. I normally have a lot more questions than this. How many times per week, how to figure that out, look at that. And then what types of content that we're going to post. So Lisa's asking a question, which is, as a part of that content planning, are you pre-scheduling the posts for the month? Yes, in that 2 hours, we definitely are. So we are creating the content and we are posting it in 2 hours. And I proved today that it can be done. I mean, you're looking at 14 bits of content. I created 7 in an hour while teaching somebody how to do it. We use the Canva platform. And for this particular client today, we used the free version of Canva because she had a free account. We then downloaded the images and uploaded them directly to Facebook and scheduled them in. The relief on her face today when we were able to schedule in 2 weeks worth of content for her today was, it was great to see. She has been procrastinating about it because she thought it was hard. And she now realizes that if she just sits down and writes a plan and actually does it, it makes it a lot easier. Now, in the Growing Your Business Using Social Media webinar, we talk about watching the content and having a look at what people like. It's not a big thing, guys. You know what people like and don't like. People don't like something, then they'll just not like it. If they're really reactive to it, then they will like it. If you are here today because you are wanting me to give you a really quick fix for social media, unfortunately, the only quick fix I can give you is to hire somebody else to do it for you. That would be the ultimate quick fix. But we find that businesses either have time or money. Okay, so you've either got the time to learn how to do these things and not the money to spend on it, or you watch this today and you'll go, you know what, this seems like a lot of effort and I could be putting my time better into growing my business and I have the money to pay somebody to do it. So that's essentially, that's the kind of decision that you need to make for your business as to whether that's going to work for you. What I wanted to show you today was that you can very easily create 14 pieces of content, schedule them out over your platforms. If you're looking for, a lot of people ask at this point, which isn't a question that's come through, is what scheduling platform do I recommend? Obviously, we use Canva because we have the paid version, but if you don't have the paid version of Canva, you can't use that. Before we were using the paid version of Canva, we were using a product called Later, later.com. I'm going to put that in the chat for you, later.com. And it was a really easy to use free service. But there's Hootsuite as well. You may have heard of Hootsuite is another one. But scheduling it in, particularly if you're using Facebook or Instagram, can be done directly on the Facebook and Instagram platforms as well. But Later will allow you to schedule to other social medias as well. So Lisa's saying, I'm going to do some social media for a building company. I may not be able to plan a month in advance as they like progress posts. What do you mean by progress? Is this they're building something and they want to show the build, how the build's going? I'm talking, okay, great. So what I would suggest to you there, Lisa, is the type of content that we've done in this plan. So if I was to go back, and show you the 14 bits of content that we have here. These are just your everyday posts. I would be suggesting that you have something scheduled in, because this type of regularity on your social media platforms is going to help with the algorithm, and it's going to help your content get seen by more people. So I would be scheduling in as far as advanced as you can. Do, if you did a month in advance, just your general content. And then you can say, oh, look, here's a picture of our current build and where we're up to. And, look at this and look at what we've done here. And they could be extra posts, not planning them in the future. They're just sort of done, that day, as opposed to what's happening. But if you can get some regularity, you're showing Facebook or Instagram or LinkedIn, you're showing the algorithm, I'm here often, I'm showing up and I'm posting, show my content to people. You need to remember that these social media platforms were created for you to build relationships with people. The difference between doing marketing over social media and advertising in the paper is that in the paper, you know that it went out to 10,000 people, but you don't know how many of those people actually opened the paper. And if you've ever had a local paper delivered to your front door, unfortunately, a lot of them have gone missing over COVID, or they've taken the opportunity to leave. But my paper used to sit in the driveway for 3 days getting run over by the cars before it would even get picked up. And then half the time it would end up in the bin. So there's no way in traditional marketing for you to be able to judge what's happened and what's been working. But in the digital marketing space, you can see very clearly straight away when things are working and when things are not. And essentially, this is free. If you can set yourself a schedule to post on a regular basis, tell the algorithm that, and it doesn't matter what platform you're across, there is an algorithm, a marketing algorithm, and don't even try to figure out exactly what it is. Just post regularly and interact with the people who are on there, liking your posts and commenting on your posts. And that will get you the best results. So that would be my suggestion for you there, Lisa. Now, a lot of people want to know what's coming up, what sort of workshops and webinars we have coming up. So I just thought I'd tell you guys that my next workshop, and our workshops are 2 hours. The next one for me is on Friday, the 5th of March, and it's $24.19 to attend through the ASBAS program. So really affordable, but we'll actually go through and show you how you can send out emails via MailChimp if that's what you are wanting to do. And then we've got another free webinar coming up on Tuesday, the 9th of March, which is a small business survival guide. And the content in this one may come in handy. I particularly wanted to run this one in the month of March, knowing that JobKeeper was coming to an end across Australia for a lot of businesses. And there'll be a lot of business owners out there wondering how they're going to survive. So this is a bit of a survival guide for that. So that's on Tuesday, the 9th of March. Again, a free webinar. You guys get copies of these webinars. So if you can't attend at the time, though, I really appreciate you guys being here today and I love the interaction. I don't feel like I'm by myself, but you do get copies of the recording. So you can also book one-on-one sessions via the ASBAS program, as I said, the workshops and the free webinars. So what I would say to you is if you've come along to this webinar tonight and you're looking at it and you think, gee, I want some help. I wouldn't mind some help creating some content. I can really guarantee you in that one-on-one hour session over Zoom that you and I could certainly have that content created for you. So that's another option for you also, is that you might want to book a one-on-one session so we can talk about your business and the type of content that you would want to post or could post, or something that's going to be more successful for you. Social media is certainly a different beast when it comes to the marketing world and digital marketing, but it's also where you can have the most success. And people now really want to get to know who you are. They want to get to know your company and your business and what it is that you do. And so it's one of the best ways that you can actually interact with your clients. So guys, if you don't have any other questions for me, that's pretty much it for tonight. I think I'm finishing a few minutes ahead of schedule. I normally think there's going to be about 5 minutes worth of questions, but tonight's been very quiet. So thank you very much. I hope you got a lot of that out today, and I really hope to see you guys in a future webinar or workshop coming up, or book a one-on-one session, because I'd love to meet you. So have a great evening or afternoon wherever you are, and I'll be talking to you soon.